Oh my goodness, and we are here. Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to Watch Over Palestine, a charity tournament that BPO is running. I'm Mataneva, and I'm joined by the beautiful and handsome Gio. Gio, how are we feeling? What is this all about? Why are we here?
Well, we're here to help the kids of Palestine. It's no secret that there is a lot of issues that have been occurring across Palestine for many years. It's a very complicated issue, but now more than ever, the people there need some help, and we're here to support the charity of the Palestinian Children Relief Fund. They're a charity that was founded back in 1991, so they've been doing this a long time. They're a respected and trustworthy charity that their goal is basically just to supply humanitarian aid to children across the Lemant and specifically in Palestine. Of course, right now, a lot of big efforts in the Gaza Strip right now, where there's lots of issues right now, and it's all about just giving that aid to the children so that they can have access to that medical care. Now, if you want to help out this amazing charity, exclamation mark donate in the chat will get you the Tiltify link, and you'll see we have a little bit of a goal of $1,000, which we are already over halfway towards. So we might even hit it tonight if you guys are as giving as I know you can be. There's a little bit of rewards as well. $5, you can basically put your name in for a raffle for a coaching call with either Spilo or Natter, two very respected coaches that really know their stuff. Also, if you donate $3, you can get a small vinyl sticker to basically commemorate you donating and helping out with the charity. It's going to be a fun time. We're here to support a good cause, and we've got some wacky teams to commentate over tonight.
Oh, we absolutely do. I'm so glad you mentioned it. As a really quick reminder, yes, please do have exclamation point donate in the chat for some more information and donate to this amazing, amazing fun and this amazing charity. But like you were saying, we do have two teams, Overworked, of course, comprised of a lot of BPLs themselves, staff, and we of course also have Marmoris's own Aquarius roster. As you can see, here are the head-to-heads as stated. And as you can see, we have a lot on the side of Aquarius. Knowing a little bit of background information, a large portion of this team is comprised of supports. As the fellow Marmoris lover, average Marmoris team, just so you know, always comprised of all supports. On the side of Overworked, they have their beautiful roster consisting of King on Tank, Shoreline Pie in January on DPS, Current Silver in June with that beautiful support, and Unfeatured kind of sitting in the back end, gonna be a beautiful flex for any and all roles.
Yeah, this should be a fun one. Lots of BPL names on the side of Overworked. Of course, January, the other Scottish person, up at 1 a.m. Actually playing instead of casting. And last time I casted Shoreline Pie, they were under the banner of Team Scotland, of which I gave them temporary Scottish citizenship. It has been revoked. They didn't win, so maybe they can get something back with me tonight and get a victory.
Oh, tougher starting. I love this. I love this. We must get it back, guys. We have to get it back. So we both have, some of our friends that we're cheering on for over here, as well as again, big support for Palestine, for the children of Palestine, especially that are being affected by what's been happening, not even just for past year, but for past 50 years and onwards, right? So, of course, I can't wait for us to get started. This is gonna be a really fun time. Of course, everything is first to three, and I do want to really quickly mention our current map order. We're of course gonna be starting off on that beautiful control, beautiful in some ways, but typically we're gonna over control. Then we're gonna be moving on to hybrid, and ideally, if you want that beautiful 3-0, you're gonna end it all on flashpoint. But if not, we could see both these teams go the distance and go the mile by finishing on push, escort, and then a tiebreaker on control if there is a tiebreaker needed. So of course, it's gonna be a really jam-packed night, not just for us, but also for the next match, and of course our sister stream as well. I mean, all these ample opportunities to watch some really good Overwatch action supporting amazing cause.
Yeah, if you want to get the B stream up as well, there's going to be games happening there, so you can get the multi-stream up. I forget what the name of the app is, but you can have the two screens up if you want to watch twice the amount of Overwatch than you would if you're just watching us. We are going to go to the bread and butter control map of Overwatch. Lijiang Tower has been selected, which means we're going to see everyone knows Lijiang. I don't need to tell you about Lijiang Tower. We're going to see what these teams are going to prefer to play. We're also going to see the unfortunate logo of one of the teams that has already broken down there. I see it's actually the system itself is rebelling against the logo that was submitted by Overworked. I guess you could say the logo itself was overworked. But yeah, you're more familiar with Marmora Aquarius. How do you think they're going to shape up against Overworked today?
I mean, I love Marmoris as an organization, and they have some amazing players on each of their teams. And Aquarius is really no different, albeit they may be running in with a couple of ringers, a couple of different people. They are still so in tune with one another that another ringer in, and that's a-okay. You're right in with the sister, and we are gonna be able to make this work, especially on something like Lijon Tower, where everyone and their mother that's ever been on a team or ranked for a team has scrimmed before, whether you like it or not. And you've seen it also been played a million and one times in the professional side of things, or even in the collegiate side of things, or in the amateur brackets. Like, Lijiang Tower, at the very least, is a great starting point for a lot of teams, especially with comps. Typically, going to be seeing that brawl come through even a little bit. I mean, the compositions we could really talk about forever, because I feel like a lot of things have shifted in the meta, especially with the recent Overwatch Champion Series. concluding recently. Oh my gosh, I forgot it's finished. So many different things have really come through and showcased themselves in terms of different comps that you can run on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and if that means we see more Mauga, then we'll just have to put up with that. But at least it's not as a, I'll say it, it's not as a brain dead composition as the first Mauga comps we saw initially. You know, just a little bit more skill to it in terms of, you know, looking for that kind of splash damage backline. And really giving power to your DPS to be able to follow up. We saw a lot more Genji as well, which I'd be excited to see if we see some of these players play Genji. Well, it's unlikely to happen here on Control Center. Of course, as soon as I say that, Shoreline Pie is going to lock it in. This has always been a more brawl-centric map, close corners, so you're going to be looking for those shorter range hit scans like the Cassidy that you're seeing, and LT Sniper hovering on the Junkrat. That could be a very scary prospect for anyone on the side of Overworked as the spam comes in. Unconventional compositions right now. We are going to see the Roadhog versus Mauga, which we did see in the OWCS major in Dallas, so maybe it'll work for as much for Bear as it did for Junbin, but I'm not so sure.
Oh my god, and we're already starting off right into this white room here. King, coupled with that Lucio from Kern, able to actually secure a really good position on this high ground. January going in with the Venture, coming in the background. Here they go. Gonna be jumping straight up and immediately getting hooked in by Bear and immediately gonna be secured back to that spawn room. Suddenly, Marmoris Aquarius looking real hot and mighty with a whole extra person.
Yeah, but Bear's keeping it going. It's hard to push in. That's the cardiac overdrive out now. With Shoreline Pie getting Phoenix though, suddenly King is just throwing the backline, and Bear's been unable to get anything done on the point. And despite losing January, who, to be fair, she just bumped her head. That's really the reason she died there. She bumped her head when she came up, got hooked and taken out. Now it's going to be a lot harder for Marmoris to push through the amount of damage that they're going to be taking, especially from the Venture, who can very easily get out in most circumstances. And as soon as someone goes low, you know that Mauga's coming in with the Stomp, and you saw it there, King's going to destroy your back.
You're absolutely right, but look at this little rotation. We're going straight from the high ground from the spawn into the white room immediately. The Junkrat trap is, the Pig Pen is ready and it gets activated by Overworked, especially, you know, on King. Is a little bit of extra damage you don't want to take as a tank that doesn't have too much armor to sustain. Beautiful use of that nade coming in from Aroma to keep the tank alive even longer. And like you said, these close quarters with that Junkrat can be fatal. But even better is the approach of that Mora Coalescence to push forward on Overworked and allow them to take this objective even further in their grasp.
Yeah, lovely, economically safe win as well. Just using the Coalescence means you've got this blade coming up. You are going to have to deal with the subsequent sound barrier from Bulldog if you want to get that beat through. Of course, the Nano's going to come up, but who on Aquarius is going to get Nano? Will it be the Roadhog? That's probably the best choice.
It might be that Roadhog, Cold Hog. You might be seeing get Nano, but instead to see an immediate charge. And Junkrat, I don't know. Junkrat getting Nano is a very instinctive to see, but it's a-okay. We saw the tower also go through, but not getting any target available to them. Another W team fight one for Overworked, and like you said, look, they still have that blade ready. Oh, poor Bulldog. We don't got a stagger like that in this day and age. No, I felt that.
I gotta respect LT Sniper getting the Nano and being like, okay, I'll tie her now in the middle of the entire enemy team. What are you doing, Shoreline Pie? In the middle of the air? It didn't matter.
I respect it.
Much.
I respect it.
Fair enough. I mean, it worked. It meant you couldn't touch.
Yeah, you didn't get to touch. Everyone's always. I feel like when it comes to things like Dragon Blade, you mainly get like that. Oh, I need to run away. Like factor, that instinct, and you know you don't want to deal with it, especially with LT Sniper. I like the Pharah pick at the very end, albeit was a little bit too late. Pharah a little bit slow of a character to actually get to where she wants to from A to B, but it's. Going on to Lijiang Tower Night Market, I'm gonna be really happy to see some flyers out here, especially with LT Sniper now hovering over that Echo.
I'm just going to quickly mention that our top donation is $100 from June. That's an incredible amount of money to give away to charity, a very selfless act there. So, shout out to June there. We have actually went over $600 now, so we're getting closer and closer to that $1,000 goal.
Yeah, we did get 220s in the last match. It was $48 already from the start of the stream. It only started 5 minutes ago. And speaking of 5 minutes, we're 5 minutes to this team fight, and we're right down The entirety of Marmoris Aquarius, yes, January on that Tracer was the first to go, but at the grand scheme of things, it's another one-team kill for Overworked. Gonna be seeing the Echo Mirror come through as we get a reset and the point gets captured again for Overworked.
A little bit of European influence here on the Aquarius side. The end strategy of bringing the Sigma into the Mauga. Of course, you've got that shield to block the Mauga healing and that hands as well. So it's a very good hero to counteract it if you don't have a Mauga in your own back pocket.
You're absolutely right here. And as we see, the rotation is going over to mid, where it looks like they're getting a little bit sandwiched here. So much so that both the DPSs are completely negated by Shoreline Pie. That beautiful Genji is just really showing the work. A second team kill of the round, and I think the fourth one of the map. The wall that Overwatch is putting up right now is impenetrable so far.
Yeah, I mean, Shoreline Pie's been doing so good at noticing when to dash in to get those eliminations, and has been very curt with it, very quick on it. Now there is going to be a dueling Mauga. LT Sniper going super low, striding on the line of death.
Oh, January trying to get that photon beam as well, but thankfully we did see RO able to kind of negate himself out of that extra damage, but not for long. The sound barrier from Bulldog may have been a little bit too late, but as I say that, getting not one but two imperative picks here with no Shoreline Pie and no current master feeling really good, but unfortunately again we're gonna be seeing another W, the duplicate coming in from LT Sniper onto the Cassidy, and it's gonna be showcasing a big amount of power that Overworked can just really utilize and play with. Big second fight coming through almost immediately on the double Malgus.
Yeah, lots of ultimates though on the side of Overworked. So much damage coming out from the window with only 85% to go. Beaten out aggressively to spawn. I don't think Marmoris touched this.
They definitely don't with that cage fight in the smack middle of their spawn, location. But as I say that, Marmoris gets not one, not two, but three people over to the point. But those two slowly trickle down to one as Overworked tries to retrace their steps back to the original point of the game. The objective is secured 200% to about a combined 50% on the side of Marmoris Aquarius. But the game one of Lijiang Tower is not an indicator of how the rest of the games will go. Anything can always happen on things like Hybrid and Flashpoint.
Then the game's going to go to Shoreline Pie. Did a great job here on the Genji. Overworked playing, pretty much essentially the meta composition, playing double flex DPS there of the Genji Echo. It's a lot of poke and it's a lot of burst damage. If you land those stickies, if you get a dash in, there's very few people who are going to survive that if you're not running an Immortality field or a Suzu, and that's just something you're going to have to accept and contend with and put into your game plan. But if you are struggling with your game plan for the small amount of $5, you can enter a raffle to get some coaching from Spilo or Natters, so definitely look into that. But for now, it seems like Overworked are looking like the better team. They have the better sense of the meta. They're coming in with this Mauga composition, and if I'm Marmoris Aquarius, I'm probably thinking, how do we go on a map where Mauga's not so strong? Maybe something with high ground, maybe something where it's more dive orientated, so that we can take them off what seems to be their best composition.
You're absolutely right. The Mauga, with the recent fall of Orisa, not a lot of tiers, but enough so that she's not the checker of Mauga and to an extent Roadhog. These two tanks have kind of come out the limelight a little, or just come through to the limelight, where we did get a little traumatized with the Mauga meta in December, where everyone was on holiday, there was no nerfs, and Mauga was running rampant. And without a check like that, he has become the tank to play. He requires so much coordination, so much pressure on that tank, because at the very least he doesn't have a shield. The cardiac overdrive is great for sustain for only X amount of time until a really good anti-nade gets onto him. You have high burst damage, maybe with your Bastion, the Echo, things like that Mauga can't really stand in front of for too long. And then at some point you gotta turn to the dark side and go for the Mauga mirror if you have to.
Yes, let the Mauga flow through you. Land on those squishies, take them out, and press your E button. Yeah, Cardiac Overdrive is an insane ability, but if you're not wanting to play the Mauga, your game plan is to watch them press cardiac overdrive, back up, survive it, then go in once it's over, because that's their main go in, right? Because they're gonna jump in, cardiac overdrive, their Genji's taking less damage, their Echo's taking less damage, their Lucio's taking less damage, and they're all in your face, and they're pewing your head, and there's not much you can do about it if you don't have your own cardiac overdrive. So it's all about playing around that. You saw that a lot when Ents were playing their Sigma composition, where they would basically wait for that cardiac overdrive to come out, back up, stabilize, and then come back into the fight when they had the advantage. So if you're not going to play the Mauga, it's all about making sure they waste their cardiac overdrive.
Absolutely, and yeah, I feel like when Maga is paired with that Lucio, you also want to kind of target Lucio a little bit there. Without he, in my mind, Maga kind of works on the same, synergy level of Ryan Lucio as Maga Lucio, where Ryan wants to charge in with the Lucio and he becomes so quick and so disastrously scary. Where Maga has his own impenetrable charge, gets out of any CC with it, and also with the Lucio, I mean, that man becomes horrifying. But like you said, you wait out that cardiac overdrive, you wait out that life steal that it provides, and suddenly Maga kind of tumbles over like the big man with two hearts he is. He just has to. He needs to go. I'm being so nice.
Mm-hmm.
He gotta go. I, as a fellow,
Yeah.
we must go. But instead of going and sending Mago over to the Abyss, we're gonna be going over to Eichenwald, one of my personal favorite hybrid maps to play on.
Yeah, just to bounce back off of that, maybe we can send him over to Dead by Daylight, because that's what it feels like playing against him. Okay, Eichenwald, so we're maybe thinking of playing a little bit farther back, creating some distance and spamming out, trying to force out that said cardiac overdrive, perhaps playing into the Sigma that we saw previously. But it's actually Overworked who's decided, yeah, okay, we're not going to play the Mauga on here. We're going to play the Sigma with a double flex support backline of a Bath Anna. Okay, we're getting creative. That is going to give you the Anthony, but it looks like they are going to be running the carry with a Reinhardt. Okay, this is a very interesting composition so far, but the main thing that for Overwork is they're playing double flex DPS and double flex support with a Sigma. Interesting.
Oh, the Suzu gets immediately burned out as well. Immediately coming out of spawn. I love the Ryan Sigma we're seeing here as well. And also, they're on the Pharah, who has been kind of a tear recently with how big those hitboxes are. They're basically the size of bowling balls, right? So we're going to be seeing, as I said, that Herdmaster playing that beautiful support well. Taking care of Bear almost immediately. Now it's up to Phoenix on this Ashe, the only DPS you have right now, to kind of make sure that we go back, regroup before we lose anyone else on the side, Marmoris, Aquarius. And I do want to say, I am in love with the double flex support backline of Overworked. That sustain, that anti-nade, that immortality food is going to be a problem for Aquarius.
Yeah, definitely the sustain, but also the head scan ability to just delete Bear if Bear overextends a little bit in the air is going to be terrifying. It means Bear needs to play a lot more careful, and the supports that they need to be careful of as they're going in. Looks like Shoreline, sorry, it's actually unfeatured there on the Genji trying to take them out. Slow and steady on the race with LT Sniper now on the top.
And the pressure that James is putting on in the backline, forcing out a little bit of a lack of healing for just for momentarily, but during those just last little precious moments, Bear and LT Sniper, you're tanking your DPS, as well as Aroma on the Kiriko, fall victim to the powerhouse of Overworked, who have yet to really get even a tick on the board for this objective. Still 2.5 minutes to go. Anything can happen here, as we do have Bear's Barrage ready and active. Oh, a ball swap.
Yeah, ball swap here, going for a bit more dive, trying to just basically, I mean, when you're Rhino with a carry, there's not enough support for you. Bear's actually going to go down. That's devastating. You're definitely looking to utilize the barrage, but the issue is getting it into position, because right now the only person who can dive with LT Sniper is maybe Bulldog and maybe Bear, but it's so much pressure coming out of it that it's going to be very hard for the two of them to do it. And while I'm talking, one by one, Aquarius are just getting taken out by this heavy spam composition, which is going to have its Nano Blade combination ready for this next fight, and that's going to be real scary for Aquarius.
Hey, maybe we're gonna see the Nano Junkrat again. I'm just saying. I could be a big fan of Nano Junkrat right now. There it is. They're going to be putting in the pressure. Swimming into Steel Trap as a good precaution. But there is that Nano Blade you're talking about. And then the barrage as an immediate response. But the power of that flexible backline keeps Argenty up alive. And even with the Nano and the Mortality Field, now Marmoris Aquarius has to regroup once more as LT Sniper tries to get something started here. Maybe put some pressure on Feature, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, big tire coming in for Phoenix all the way in the back.
I'm trying to say -2 ults there. I think flaming their own team for not getting anything with the Nano Blade, but to be fair, that barrage was dealing a lot of damage. Now, of course, the Flux is going to come out, but you do have both your support ults ready for it if you're Aquarius. The Beacon nullify it, and then you've got that rush to follow up. This is going to be a strong fight for Aquarius to win. They need to utilize the ults correctly, though.
I would love to see a really aggressive sound from Bulldog, which we might be seeing instead due to the Kashif rush from Aroma. Maybe a little bit too late though. The Bob comes through, gets rid of just Turnmasters in the field. But I mean, Lifted Bob does the work, gets rid of King at the same time.
Yeah, and now suddenly it opens up, right? LT Sniper does look like they are going to go down though, so a bit of stabilization. Both support ults were used by Aquarius. It's a bit messy, but the core of Overworked have been able to stay in. Again, the sustain of the double flex support backline being the constant factor, and Overworked being able to sustain and live through it. And no one is able to touch in the end. And even if they did, the Nano, which went on to Kernmaster, was there. Overworked are definitely overworking themselves for the dub here. This is maybe one of the teams that we're going to be seeing high in that single bracket playoff on Sunday that the Swiss stage is building towards. So I'm starting to get the feeling that we may be looking at one of the top teams here in the overall tournament.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the wall that they put up, although it is in the realm of possibility to do a full hold, 47%, all they need to hold at, yes. Is it practical? Is it probably going to happen? Realistically, no, but that's okay. Marmoris Aquarius got a little bit, was starting to get their footing a little bit later into Eichenwald. We did see the last minute swap from Phoenix going over to the Soldier. We did see the continue rush come through, and it did help a lot, especially with the Bob right beforehand that was able to secure the kill on King, our tank on Overworked. But at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like I had to highlight Kernmaster specifically on this Baptiste, able to provide the heals, able to provide the sustainability, and also contribute to the DPSing that Overworked is utilizing so well into their defense. So on their attack, I'm really excited to see how we do it. Also, shout outs to Can Soup for a $10 donation.
Yeah, thank you for supporting it. Yeah, Kernmaster's a good player. Snowdown roll star previously, so a roll star on the roll, you're going to get some good stuff coming out. A very modern backline here from Overworked with their dive. It does allow King to go a little bit deeper, Shoreline Pie to go a little bit deeper and get pulled in by Silvertails. So there's definitely options here for some wacky plays here.
I'm sorry, I had to get the peanut butter emo coming through from King, who comes immediately on the back end, consisting of Bear and the double supports. Gonna be seeing King kind of chill out a little bit, gonna be poking a bit, gets burned out a little by that Ash Dynamite, and retreats back for the team. The dive here is so imperative, and LT Sniper, speaking of, diving onto the Shoreline Pie. May not be a dive tank, but that hook comes through when you need it to.
Yeah, it's like a reverse dive, right? Like, you force them to dive you by hooking them. And I've never thought of it that way. New way of looking at it. Trying to force out Unfeatured on the Tracer, who, gets a brilliant blink melee, and suddenly it's all open, because if you don't have your Lucio, you've got so much less speed in your rotations.
Oh, even then, look, they're trying to hide behind the big old body of LT Sniper here, but Unfeatured still able to trickle down that health pool very quickly with the double piston, and that is a quick W on the side of Overworked as they continue to get a just continue the rampage throughout these games. 2-0 so far, match point for Overworked as we go into game 3.
Yeah, you can tell when players are not paid by the other. You can very much tell, and Overworked are definitely showing that, because they're playing very clean. There's a lot of just base mechanics as well that they've been showing these players, just looking super on top of their form. Of course, a lot of them will be in BPL 6, I'm not ready for that logo when it pops up, man. I'm just not. It looks
I've
into
been
my
looking at
soul.
it. I've been looking at it in like the little corner when you see their names and their score, and I'm like, I can't take this logo seriously. It is someone dropping coffee on themselves, and I'm like, whoever is your graphic designer, I need to hire them right
Yes.
now.
I believe it was Shoreline Pie who came into the VC, and I berated them. I was like, "Please tell me what I'm looking at." And they said it is an overworked person with bloodshot eyes because they're tired, spilling coffee on themselves. So that might give you some context as to the I don't want to use the word art. The thing you're seeing. I'll say thing. The thing that you're seeing.
The
That is what it
graphic.
is. Yes,
That's
the graphic.
the graphic design is my passion graphic of all time, truly. It's a great logo. And maybe that's like the key, you know, maybe they're just
Hmm.
like stoked up on coffee. They're all exhausted, got 2 hours of sleep last night, and they're doing their best in over the and watch our Palestine tournament. It's
Hmm.
great around here, guys. But like I said, match point 2-0 so far, one more to win. First to three, we're going over to Flashpoint, and you have all of two choices. So you can flip a coin.
Yeah, not a lot of choice here, but it's either Sorvasa or the one that people don't like as much as Sorvasa. So I think we're probably going to go to Sorvasa, aren't we? Since it looks like we're not really going to have a lot of time in this map, I just want to again stress that we are supporting Palestine Children's Relief Fund, the PCRF. They do amazing work across the Lamont and specifically in Gaza. They had a recent update. This was in May, at the end of May. So they were talking about how they have a current initiative, an emergency response project for displaced children and families in northern Gaza. And they have a dedicated team on the ground delivering critical aid and essential support to those in desperate need. So this is a boots on the ground charity with people who are there in person, getting that aid, getting that medical support for a lot of children who are displaced by the chaos that's going on down there. So, please, if you have any amount of money, even $3 gets you a sticker if you have your address put in. $5, of course, gets you a raffle for potentially getting coached by two of the most well-known content coaches out there. So definitely get involved, get into the Telefy, !donate in the chat gets you to the link. We have a goal for the weekend of reaching $1,000. Of course, it'd be great if we went over that, but that's our goal for now. We're only $400 away from that, and we've only just started. We've only been 36 minutes live, so we're on some good track, and you can be part of helping this great initiative.
Yes, absolutely. Everything you said and more. I mean, like you had just said, we started at $559 for our goal, and we are already at $614. So any little amount counts. Either it's a dollar or 100. Anything helps. So if you have some extra pocket change, if you have a part of your paycheck you want to donate, please do. In the meantime, we're gonna be seeing New Junk City be the pick of choice here for Marmoris Aquarius, which is very interesting as I kind of agree with you here. This is not the fan favorite by far. Surabasa has been the people's beloved since pretty much
Yeah.
release of that.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for that is that the points on Junkertown are a lot more different than the points on Servasa. So you have to have kind of macro knowledge of each point and how you want to be playing it. However, I thought this might happen. Overworked, unworked. Well, they've unworked their roster because now we have unfeatured on the Hog, and January's come in for the Genji with Kernmaster moving over to the DPS. June's come in for the support of Silvertails again. A double flex support seems to be their flavor for this tournament. They're going to be going into Venture again coming up from there.
Oh man, LT Sniper just got hit with every CC in the game. I saw Hook, I saw Anti, I saw Sleep. I'm so sorry. I had been there before, and that all opens up for Marmoris Aquarius for Overworked to not only push in towards their main line, but also to capture the objective firstly in their favor. Oh my god, I can't get over the triple CC I just saw. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough, especially when you have it's a low healing backline with a lot of potential damage output with that Life Weaver Zen, so you're really looking to follow up on the Discord and its placement, but if you take a brawl fight then it might not go your way. Meanwhile, Bear actually finds Current Master.
They're almost getting away from January on the hunt. Speaking of on the hunt, Unfeatured is also just wreaking havoc just on everyone else with this hook pull combo. Oh no! Oh no!
Get back here!
Oh, okay, Scorpion, I see you.
Poor Aramora for getting life gripped out and then hooked back in. It's a push and pull you don't want to experience in Overwatch, but it's happening. You saw kind of a back and forth there with the chaos. There was Bear being able to get a pick and following up on some of those Discord orbs. It's what you want to do, but when you have such a tanky tank like Hog who can just walk into your backline, it's very tough to set your Zen up in a safe spot.
I love the pressure coming in from LT Sniper, but unfortunately he just got off the objective while they were trying to contest a little bit there, meaning the first point of the possible 3-0 of Flashpoint does go to Overworked first and foremost. Whole Hog is ready for Unfeatured, and on the back end, this Dragon Blade just in the back line was wreaking havoc and terrorizing poor Phoenix on that soldier. Another one team fight for Overworked before the objective is even unlocked and only 14 seconds to go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There could have been a good potential for them to take that there. But what we're about to see is a big old fight, Bear. No, not like that. Not like that, Bear. Needs to back up. I was going to say there's going to be a big ult fight coming because both these teams have 4 ults. In fact, Aquarius are coming up to a potential 5. But it's all about how you utilize these ultimates. The support ultimates from Overworked are just a little bit better in terms of their output, where Aquarius are a bit more defensive with their support ultimates. That's the main difference.
Oh, speaking of, we're gonna be popping that the minefield immediately, and man, at the same time, you try seeing Phoenix go for that visor, and immediately gets shut down by January on the Genji. Poor Bulldog just has to put out most of the healing output there, as you had mentioned earlier. Aroma is really there for the discords, and the follow-through is beautiful life grip, because I saw LT Sniper's life bar go almost away in seconds.
And Overworked are doing this a lot in the neutral, being very good at displacing and finding those out of position people with those hooks and with these railguns. As you can see, Kernmaster charged up, almost took a head off. That's something you have to be very careful of.
The overclock I want to also mention is a big factor here, kind of a scare tactic, as Unfeatured did utilize that whole hog, making a lot of space, and man, oh, a little toe in there, don't be shy. A little toe for LT Sniper to activate the overtime candle wick, and before we can even get to the mini, we immediately go down. They're trying to utilize that Titanic Shock of Venture, but even then, it's not going to be enough. The offensive Zenyatta is my personal favorite usage of Tranquility, of Transcendence, and again, not going to be enough. Another capped point for Overworked. Just one more to go to take a W on Flashpoint and take a W in the match.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little lopsided in terms of the skill level here, which is going to happen in the Swiss stage as we get, these standings worked out towards that later bracket. But there's always that potential, right? They're always on the verge of potentially winning out a fight, but unfortunately, Unfeatured just keeps finding picks like that.
Especially coupled with that Nano Blade for the Nano Blade. The fight only gets harder and harder for Aquarius. The Tree of Life comes through from beneath the soil, but it's not gonna be enough as January cleans up the fight, and Overworked sets right up to activate the objective in their favor for another possibility of a 3-0, 200% unanswered by Aquarius so far.
Yeah, what's a tree in the face of efficiency 5 axe? It just it didn't do anything there, and the mines are ready, and the mines have been quite effective. They're very well aware of Unfeatured being there, so they can either force Unfeatured out now, or just go to the rest of the team that currently don't have the time.
Oh, speaking of the mines, they're utilized, and oh, poor Silver Towels on the Ana couldn't get away from all that damage in time, but it's a-okay. Alzheimer has to get out of there, and Kiryu no Suzu means that Bear gets a very clean pick on June. We are seeing the objective finally start to go in favor of Aquarius just momentarily, and the hook gets interrupted. Let's go, but Bear still falls victim.
I'm sure our featured won't be loving that one, but it's the Overclock that's looking to save it. But our Mora actually wins that duel. Suddenly, it looks like if you can take on featured out here, you might actually be in with a chance of taking some percentage here. Otherwise, the match is over.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of over, man, the Cassini rush is not what we want to see coming straight back from the objective, from the spawn to the objective. We're going to be seeing a little bit of that stall coming through from LT, but it's not going to be enough as, again, Unfeatured, unrelenting in dying and just surviving for the longest time does not allow Aquarius to even get a tick on the board. That is 300% to 0. That is Overworked taking a 3-0 in our first round of the night. And that was extremely entertaining to watch.
Yeah, especially because we're getting a sense of this Overcooked roster, which has a lot of big names, you know, and they definitely showed that they can play that meta comp, they can play off meta comps like this Rooftop comp, they can flex about and have fun with it and still show. It's a jump scare every time, and it completely derails my thought process.
I'm sorry. I was trying not to laugh, and then it was just really big on my screen. Oh
Do
my
not let this
goodness.
team win. If I see this logo show up as like the overall winners of this tournament, I will not be able to handle it. And
Oh, I'll be so disappointed. I'm gonna tell every single team I need y'all to beat this team. I will make a new graphic for you. I can draw. I can draw. I will make a new graphic for you. I promise. It's just a jump scare every time. But what wasn't a jump scare is that it was a 3-0 and quite convincingly so. No hard feelings. It's all for charity, which again, one more time before we move on to our next bracket or our next set, may I say, please do exclamation point donate in the chat. Please donate at least $3 for a sticker made by, I believe, Poofa. And you could do, $5 to be entered in a raffle to get some impeccable coaching, possibly from either Spilo or Nader. So listen, it's some great rewards. It's a good cause, and it really does help out a lot of people that are in need right now.
yeah, we all have a lot of privilege to even be a part of an Overwatch tournament, right? To be able to take part in this activity. And if we think back to our childhoods, you know, most of us are gonna think of, you know, having freedom of living in a home, of being able to, you know, go outside and play with your friends. And these children in Palestine, a lot of them, most of them, don't have that option right now. These poor children are stuck in a situation where their entire childhood is looking to just be interrupted by something completely out with their control. And it's charities like the PCRF that goes in and makes sure that they have the support so that they can have a little bit more of a semblance of a childhood, of a childhood that we've all had. And that's what this is all about. I'll be getting my donation in once I'm off the camera, and I hope to see us reach our goal over the weekend. As I said, we've been slowly getting there, a few donations already. It's an exciting cause that we're helping here, and already the community's come out in stride.
It's a really, really beautiful thing. And on the back end, I think we do have to start swapping it over to our co-casters who'll be taking over for the round 2 Swiss stage of tonight for you guys. And don't forget, please check out our sister stream. They also have some Overwatch action going on. And you can, again, it's all the same tournament. They can also donate over there whenever we're on break. So please, please, please go to check out our sister stream. In the meantime, we're going over to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. There's more action coming to you really soon.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Watch Over Palestine tournament here on BPL. Megalas, are you ready to get this one going? Keep this tournament rolling.
Yeah, it's a great tournament for a great cause. You got that donate button. Make sure you click it. We're out here trying to raise money for, again, just a great cause and all that stuff. And we're getting to see some amazing Overwatch while we're at it here. Here in round two, Fletch, I mean, we got ShikiCaHmi, however you want to hit that ka.
ShikiCaHmi.
Yeah, there you go.
A C instead of a G now, you know?
Listen, it throws me off. But up against Deadlocked, both these teams, they cruise through the first round with ease, not dropping a map 3-0s. So it'll be interesting to see them go up against each other here.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, if you know anything about ShikiCaHmi and that organization, they've just kind of been everywhere coming onto the scene here over the last year or so. And now, obviously, ShikiCaHmi calling all heroes. They're coming out to support the tournament, and Deadlocked on the other side don't know much about them, right? It's going to be a really, really interesting one, especially because both of these teams did kind of just beat the snot out of the people that they played in the first round. So this is, a pretty good what's the word, like parsing game to start to see the tiers and how they're gonna start working out as we get a look at the rosters. That's Blobfish on the tank on ShikiCaHmi. Wow Bob and Baby in the DPS. Mithraea and Pleasure in the support, and Aeroplane. Is that Coach?
Yeah, the coaching icons. Yippee. But hey, Deadlocked on the other side, Schema and KPM are both going to be on that tank role, probably swapping out depending on the tanks we see. Nards and ShikiCaHmi. ShikiCaHmi, honestly, one of the best names I've heard in a long time. That one, I feel like there's some power behind it. Being your DPSs, and then Swiffer, Nav, and Des all swapping around on those supports. And, it's sort of a difference in sets here, right? You have one team, they've got their 5 players, they're just going to run with it regardless of how it works. And then the other team, they can make swaps, they can make substitutions here. But heading into Busan, I don't know if you need to make that many subs, Fletch.
You're looking at this composition right now. It's basically a mirror. I'm curious as to what Baby is going to switch off to after getting that teleporter off. It'll be the Tracer, so the only difference here is the Tracer versus the Pharaoh, which we saw a lot of at the DreamHack Major this past weekend. So very, very, the only thing different here as we get into this first fight on Busan Mecha Base. Wow Bob just trying to put in a little bit of that damage, trying to poke hits Nards pretty hard there, has to back around that corner. The Lucio in no man's land, goes down, but Nards is going to answer with a rocket right into the face of the Cassidy of ShikiCaHmi. Someone dropped to the point for a second, but I did not see who it was as the Maga Blobfish explodes after jumping in, and Ski is going to try and answer that, and will do just that. It'll be Deadlocked that finds the first flip here on Mecha Base.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason we're seeing the Pharah right now, right, it's just such good splash damage against this Malga comp that likes to stay grouped, stay on top of each other here. So Baby really going to be pressured to find some high value here on the Tracer, almost pretty much guaranteeing a pick before a fight can really go in Chicago, you know what I mean.
Just say ShikiCaHmi.
Yeah.
Alright, so the flip is actually going to go through to ShikiCaHmi here, as you see Baby down there just easily getting that flip, as Ski is not going to be able to run out. That damage reduction not going to be enough, and now it's ShikiCaHmi on the other foot running down Deadlocked. 2 dead, make that 3. Wow Bob for 2, and ShikiCaHmi, they've got their feet down on the point firmly.
Yeah, and beautiful flip from Baby there, right? Nobody from Deadlock really reacted in time, and so they just had to end up leaving there. Now heading towards a pretty heavy ult fight from both sides. The only thing really lacking is Nav's beat. That won't be here at the start of the fight at the very least, but everything else good to go.
A beautiful cage fight from Ski, followed up on by Nards with a 2-piece on the rocket barrage, and Baby knows when the fight is lost. Gonna run out to the low ground, and Deadlock gonna take the flip right back.
Yeah, locked them all in the cage and just dropped it down the damage, pretty much freely there from the barrage. But heading on into this next one, you're going to see Blobfish be able to mirror that same cage, right? But instead it's going to either be a Pulse Bomb or a Deadeye to try to come out here and put the hurt onto Deadlocked after trapped in that cage.
fight down, and Ski and just about everybody else is in this cage fight as the Deadeye. You know, you see ShikiCaHmi here trying to find something but a two-piece with Baby's Pulse Bomb. Drops back down the point, gets the flip, but Ski's not done, finds two, and is still going here, finds the Cardiac Overdrive, but no more for Ski as ShikiCaHmi will move to 50%.
Yeah, and now, I mean, that Pharah has been feeling the pressure right here on Busan. Not a lot of high ceilings to hide from, so Wow Bob's definitely been getting the better of that one. Now going to be forcing the switches here, so it's a full mirror again, and that's actually going to even mean ShikiCaHmi going over to the Tracer for this mirror as well. I'm going to be very interested to see exactly how these teams want to dedicate to this fight.
Townberry out from Pleasure to get the fight started, and it's answered by Knobs, but Nards is already dead. Ski has to run away, back up. You see Blobfish just saying what's up and goodbye all in the same breath as Ski finally decides to charge on out of the fight. Deadlocked, they can't fight this fight here as they look like they want to rotate around to the far side of the map, but you got to think ShikiCaHmi is well ready for that rotation. Now you see the Kitsune rush out from Mithrea. They're gonna find so much damage that Cassidy shoots so damn fast. 99% they get the touch, but no more for Deadlocked as it will go over to ShikiCaHmi here on Mecha base.
Yeah, and that was just sort of a case of Deadlock getting out ult cycle there, right? Mithria building up that Kitsune rush in record time there to help ensue in the final fight. But really just a lot of pressure coming out from the entirety of their team here. So now, as we're heading on to the next round here, I mean, you got to start to wonder if there's going to be a swap up from Deadlocked, right? I mean, necessarily wasn't going the worst for them, right? But potentially there's more tools in the arsenal that you want to work with here. We're seeing a Sigma look, at least in the spawn room, that I would not be surprised to see leave. Nards on the tour, this would be something we haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of. But this would almost sort of be a counterplay to Baby on that Tracer, right? You're wanting to get them out of your backline, not be that much of a nuisance, but it seems like Nards is going to stick to it, actually leave the spawn room, as well as Deadlocked are going to opt into some Lucio-less gameplay here. We've got a Baptiste and a Lari, very high damage output for a support line.
Very, very pokey duel here as ShikiCaHmi with their Lucio have gone over to the point early here, taking that positioning. Baby has to use the recall. Ooh, some great tracking, but not able to find the final blow on ShikiCaHmi. But Wow Bob can! Finds a headshot there in the Sojourn duel. So up a player is ShikiCaHmi, and the health pool is also in their favor as they clean up everything here. First flip goes to ShikiCaHmi.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadlocked, they just don't have any sort of tempo, right? You lack the Lucio, you're on Torbjorn. Really, you have no sort of initiating tool in that composition, so it was just a matter of, you know, the entirety of ShikiCaHmi walking forward, doing the damage they needed to. Heading on to this next one, probably going to be looking at the Sojourn, seeing that if there's just railguns amok, see if a pick can come through that way to start this fight out.
Baby has to use the recall early, gets taken down by Nards. No way to get out of that fight safely. Now, ShikiCaHmi trying to find something, being the annoying little gnat that Tracer is known to be. Now the overclock from Wow Bob hits a shot onto ShikiCaHmi, not quite able to find it. There we go. Finally blinks back in. Wow Bob finding two on the overclock here. Has a little bit of charge and going to take out Ski with it. Going absolutely ballistic right now as Wow Bob.
Yeah, super massive here. And I mean, Deadlocked, they're starting to finally come up towards those support ultimates that, you know, they're going to have to be majorly impactful here. Actually, as I say that though, they're going to completely give up their composition. Pretty much all the ults they were close to are now gone as they pivot over to this dive. But as we're approaching what could be final fight territory, I mean, it's not looking good, right? This Gravitic Flux from Blobfish can really put the damper on this entire fight and this map.
All right, Ski on the Winston. Wants something here, has to find the opening and just scanning, looking for anything that ShikiCaHmi will give them. But I mean, that might be the opening there. Nards taking down Wow Bob. Baby does get the trade. Yeah, too low is Ski. Not going to be able to survive the Gravitic Flux, and ShikiCaHmi move to take not only map number 2, or the sub-map number 2 anyway, but Map number 1, Busong, belongs to ShikiCaHmi.
Yep, we don't even get to go to downtown. The shrine is where it will end. And I mean, just beautifully played by the entirety of ShikiCaHmi, right? I mean, they cycled their ults perfectly. They didn't really have to worry about all too much. You know, the only thing that you could really highlight as going wrong for them there, right, was Nards was getting some picks here and there on the Sojourn, but I mean, Wow Bob on the other side, just clearly demonstrating, not just with his play of the game, but throughout the map, really just being able to go toe-to-toe in that regard here. So it will be ShikiCaHmi striking first here in this map, but I mean, Deadlocked, they're now going to get a chance to respond on Hybrid. And it kind of depends on what they want to do, right? We saw them with that Pharah look. They were looking pretty solid. It's just that Busan obviously does not lend itself to Pharah across all 3 maps, right? That skybox is very, very low. It's very easy to plunk her out of the sky, but I mean, going forward, you can sort of lean into that a little bit more, play that Malga composition, make it look a little bit better, but yeah, it's just going to be on where Deadlock want to take us.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's like a solid map pool here for this tournament specifically, or if just anything goes. But you know, a lot of teams recently, Midtown seems to be the go-to. Recently, you know, Midtown or Kings Row, something like that. Kings Row is obviously Kings Row, and it's a very, very rush favored map. When you see compositions with Malga and Lucio, you know, Kings Row is always going to be one of the things that come to mind first for, you know, a selection. I don't know if Kings Row is necessarily the best for Pharah, but I think Midtown is. If you're gonna choose between those 2 maps, I think that if, you know, Deadlocked really is keen on running this Pharah on the DPS line, that, you know, Midtown is probably just the best option to try and run that specific variation of the comp.
Yeah, and it really kind of hey, look, you got it right. See, Fletch knows what he's talking about sometimes, at least. Yeah, Midtown's going to be what comes up here, and yeah, I expect them to lean completely into that Pharah with the Malga. But that being said, on the defense, you know, that Sigma comp can definitely find some value. We've seen, you know, Midtown's where things can get a little bit funky in this meta, right? Where this is where you see people unironically pick Lifeweaver, at least for first point defense. You can sort of mix it up and, you know, play a few different things. But I think one thing that kind of has to really find value here is, you know, potentially your
pigeon. Ah.
Fletch still thinks he's in Dallas, so he just has to.
Well, if anybody is, it's me, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess it is you. But yeah, I mean, pigeon cam, best cam, you know. But hey, listen, like we were saying, ShikiCaHmi has come out here on this Sigma variation, but they have the Zen Baptiste. You know, this is a very lethal backline, very comparable to the Iyari. But this is sort of the classic, right? You almost think of this as like a Circuit Royale strategy that they're running out with. Meanwhile, in the offensive spawn room, Deadlocked, they don't want to play the Malga at all here, at least for their offense. They're going to be opting into this dive again. After the TP, I more than expect Case to go over to that Tracer here, and really it's going to be following up and finding these dive targets, but it's going to be hard to isolate just about anybody in this composition.
All right, here we go. Deadlocked already rolling right around this alley side. Gets into the fight, into the firehouse now. But Case gonna catch a bullet there from Wow Bob, who's been so good thus far. Without the Tracer, it's gonna be really hard to engage for Deadlocked, and Nards is gonna get picked here. So, Deadlocked, they tried, they failed here on this first attempt.
Yeah, and so now you're seeing the rest of them back out of the alleyways. They're not trying to get staggered by any means. That being said, Tess already gets staggered here, but it is now just going to be KPM sort of playing on this staircase here. And, you know, I see why they want to try to make this dive work, but again, you know, the natural layout of Midtown really prevents their dives from going through exactly where they want it to. So I'm very interested to see, you know, if they have some sort of plan for a rotation, or if they're just going to keep getting caught out by Wow Bob with these rails.
All right, here we go. Nards jumping up over the top of the train, just trying to poke out a little bit now. You see KPM and the rest of Deadlocked rolling over into the firehouse. They've got their positioning that they wanted, but okay, pleasure. All right, a great first pick there onto Nard, and I mean, that Discord orb is proving to be a nightmare for Deadlocked at the moment as WowBob looks to clean up these kills.
Yeah, it's just going to be cleanup here for ShikiCaHmi, but, you know, something I want to highlight here that, you know, you're seeing WowBob just with these flashy plays and things like that. The first ult built across either team was a Gravitic Flux from Blobfish. I mean, that just shows that your tank is doing insane amounts of work in the damage category, right? Just poking people out and making this dive just that much harder to execute. So real props go to Blobfish so far for this defense.
All right, here we go. KPM looking for an opening, but Baby in the back line has already taken down Nards. I mean, it's going to be hard to engage here. They've got some ultimates, but do they use them? The answer seems to be no for the moment.
No, they're just going to be, just again, waiting in the wings. They're waiting for their moment, right? At least this time they haven't had anybody. Ooh, I was going to say nobody got picked, but Case is going to be the first one.
Yeah, I mean, the Discord Orb and Blobfish's accuracy has just been unreal. I mean, everybody on the side of ShikiCaHmi, they're just kind of locked in at the moment, it seems like.
Yeah, and I mean, these players are just absolutely insane right now, right? So now, with 3 minutes burned off the time bank before this next fight's going to be going here, I mean, this dive, you know, this is the moment where it's going to have to execute, right? Though you're going to see some sort of initiation. I'd like to see it come from KPM. You have that Primal Rage to get aggressive, get, you know, a little bit crazy with it.
God, jeez, that Discord Orb is being such a nuisance. The Transcendence to avoid the death by Pulse Bomb there. Nards pops the duplication, but Pleasure in the backline is going to go down, but not before putting their foot in it to Nav's throat. But oh goodness.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadlocked, they're now in the verge of getting staggered out here. You're seeing Case have to desperately either win this Tracer duel or just get out, right? That's recall forced and everything here. As we're running out of time, right? It's just going to be Nav's sound barrier, but ShikiCaHmi, they have the window, they have the overclock. It's going to be lethal.
All right, here we go. KPM very, very low, has to get in, but oh my God, WowBob. Oh my God. Oh, she's disgusting. It's absolutely just not fair right now. Oh my goodness. ShikiCaHmi, Stonewall, Deadlocked on the first round of Midtown. They never had a chance. Like, there was no point in that 4 minutes where it seemed like Deadlocked had an opportunity to do anything, because by the time they found something and had a plan, WowBob had already killed somebody.
I mean, yeah, they had to burn so many resources on all of their engages, right? We saw, you know, the bubble from KPM was forced out time and again. You saw how many, you know, blinks and slides and things of that nature that were used trying to get through the alleyways here of Midtown. But ultimately, before they could ever officially get a dive set up, you know, ShikiCaHmi, they were so proactive on their defense that they were able to stifle it, right? Whether it was a pick coming through, enough damage to force like a regroup of sorts here, it really just sort of left Deadlocked baffled here. But now they're going to get a chance to answer back here on their own defense. They're going to be fighting for a draw. Not the easiest thing in the world, but it certainly is doable, right? I mean, that Sigma composition, it is just that powerful here. As we are just looking at them, they're going to be back on this Baptiste Alari as well. I really do like the look. It's going to be a lot of damage. You don't have the Discord Orb, though. That's the one thing I feel like you're going to regret not having here. But, I mean, hey, you clearly have Iari as a comfort pick. I would go for it here. Meanwhile, ShikiCaHmi, the Reinhardt's in play. Hottie would be proud. I'm ready to see this one roll out.
All right, here we go. ShikiCaHmi. They have their engagement tool, and it's Baby. You know, the teleporter's cool, I guess, but Baby just rips Case Cashews' head off. And ShikiCaHmi are already in position, walking onto the point. They only need 33%, and they're so damn close to it already. Blobfish gets rocked there by KPM, but You know, you can't eat that. You can't eat the Symmetra Beam or the Reinhardt Swing, and they're cleaning up all the kills before they cap, but eventually they will, and ShikiCaHmi move 2-0 over Deadlock here in the second round of the Watch Over Palestine Swiss.
I love the confidence from Blobfish to just type "Welcome to EU" after that round. I mean, again, this was just such a perfect defense from them here. I mean, obviously, you know, you have the highlight of Wow Bob, and, you know, Pleasure was getting some picks as well, but really, you know, again, props has to be given to Blobfish, right? The Sigma was doing so much across those fights. Sure, you don't see it in the kill feed as often, but that initial damage coming through, the poking people out, making them back up, making them retreat, as well as, you know, good shield placements to prevent those picks coming through on the other side, you know, just everything going right there. I mean, there's such a high level that your tank has to play to that you really don't recognize all the time.
Yeah. And on the other side, right? I have seen so many people try to run the attack through that alley on Midtown A, and 80% of the time it just doesn't work. Because it just kind of feels like you're funneling yourself into a choke where the other team can get ready for it, and especially against a team as good as ShikiCaHmi, they can see where you're walking. They're gonna be ready for you when you come out of that alley, and Wow Bob is just gonna rip your head off, or Pleasure's gonna rip your head off, or I mean, ShikiCaHmi, they have playmakers at damn near every position, and I mean, I don't know. It just seems like that. It's not even like a particular dig on how Deadlock is playing, right? But that it's just a plan that I don't see work very often.
Yeah, I think that dive just wasn't the answer there. I think once you're on to second and third point, I can see a lot more of the dive. The map opens up a lot more. But, you know, obviously there's that massive train car, right, that creates that natural choke where, you know, it kind of prevents, you know, anything from coming in or out unless it remains on the ground. And that's not what a dive wants to do, right? They want to sort of swoop in from all angles, and their goal was ultimately to jump on probably either the Zenyatta or Baptiste, which, you know, solid goals, but unfortunately the map geometry just wasn't lending itself for that here. Heading on over to our next pick, though, of Servasa, making some more roster swaps. They have more players, so they can do that. You're going to see Ski in for KP at the tank role, and then Swiffer for Death in that support category. And that could be the switch up you need, right? Servasa, you know, Flashpoint, you're probably guaranteed to see a Lucio. If you don't see a Lucio, I'm not going to lie, you better hope the other team's not playing Lucio, because it really is just that much of an advantage here. But also, again, they're already highlighting him in the spawn room. Both of the Malgas are going to be coming out here, but more interesting than the Malga, I'd say, is going to be what DPSs we end up rolling out with. You know, hit scan maybe not as favorable. A lot faster paced of a game mode is where you can see things like the Genji, the Pharah, the Venture, all being highlighted on your screens. Just get more value because the game plays just that much faster.
Here we go. Another brand new composition from ShikiCaHmi here. And Deadlocked, they want to make the fair work here. I thought they'd do it on Midtown, but hopefully for their sakes, it'll work here on Servasa as we get on to Market Baby, putting out a bit of damage with the deflect, actually. Like a lot of damage with that deflect from Baby, who is just being, you know, annoying, hard to hit, as Wow Bob is in the back line where Venture thrives. But unfortunately, where Venture does not thrive is in a fight with a Pharah. So Deadlocked is going to be able to find the first fight here, going to get the first flip as it's right, and will not get away, but Pleasure will. They're going to find the first flip here on Market.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadlock, they played that beautifully, right? They sort of got Nards in a position where they were behind the rest of ShikiCaHmi, and they were able to just sort of farm damage in, and now Wow Bob already off of the Venture over to the Cassidy because they realize they have to rein this Pharah in. But I feel like Nards can definitely still play around it here and just continue to pop damage in, and probably have that barrage online very soon for this next fight.
Yep, putting in all of the poke damage that they can with this rocket launcher. You see Case looking for a target with the Pulse Bomb, knows that it could get cleansed, so trying to force Swiffer to use that Suzu would be big. Pulse Bomb stuck out there, gonna find a lot of damage, but gonna stay alive with the Cardiac Overdrive. But wow, the Kitsune Rush comes out, and Nars does go down, but not before finding 2 with the Barrage. Baby finds Ski. A very interesting fight, but it will be Deadlocked that take market here and move to 1-0 here on Survasa.
Yeah, nice little fight from them. They even got the Kitsune Rush out. They did have to put their own Kitsune Rush into it, so maybe something you wish you could have back in the pocket here. But ultimately, you get the first point, and so that puts you obviously in the momentum favor here. As we're heading on over to Palace, though, Baby already has this blade online. But, you know, it's not necessarily a guarantee. Nog getting closer and closer to a sound barrier to help mitigate the damage from that Dragon Blade. Or Bob could just be missing already.
I mean, while Bob goes down, Ski dropped the cage fight, and, you know, you did see Blobfish run right through it initially, but walks right back in. Ski, good for 3. Gonna get the first flip here on Palace.
Yeah, I mean, amazing flip for them. And that's an amazing cage, right? They don't have to invest anything else. They don't have to, you know, do any fancy tricks. It's just getting it done here. So now more and more damage can be put in, as you're seeing, you know, Nars just sort of shooting at the grouped up members of ShikiCaHmi. And, you know, again, that's just sort of the name of the game right now. Tons of splash damage, getting high value here, putting damage in, forcing resources from healers in situations where they'd rather hold on to them, and then letting your DPS work after the fact.
And Mithrela has to use the Suzu early here as Ski just stops in the middle of the run, I suppose. Goes down early to the shurikens of Baby. Flip belongs to ShikiCaHmi, and it will be them that clean up the rest of the kills and, you know, gonna find their first flip here.
Yeah, they trade their sound barrier and their Deadeye for that one. I feel like if you're Deadlocked, you're kind of okay with that because you weren't, you know, as favored in the ult economy, having used so many previous fights here. But heading into the next one, I mean, we're seeing a lethal combo of the Cage Blade here, and it's doesn't even need to come out yet. Or there it is.
Blade comes out into the cage fight, and no sound barrier to counteract it as Baby slices and dices through everybody. Cashew not going to be able to get the flip, but ShikiCaHmi, they hold on.
Yeah, and so now heading into this next fight, you're going to see mirrored Kitsune rushes as well as a Pulse Bomb out from Case Cashew, but really that's all either of these teams have, and I feel like it's going to be so much better for the defensive Kitsune rush if it's kited properly, right? I feel like ShikiCaHmi, they can just sort of walk back into point and just sort of wait for their moment and then, you know, turn their defense into an offense.
All right, here we go, baby. And our Mithraya and Swiffer are going to use their Kitsune rushes here. Pulse Bomb is out, not going to be able to take down Blobfish. A lot of damage. The Malga is so very low, so damn low. Both Malgas are going to go down here. But it will be ShikiCaHmi that continue to find the picks late in the fight. ShikiCaHmi are going to even up the score here on Survasa.
1-1, and, you know, amazing from ShikiCaHmi once again, right? They don't have to over-invest. That being said, you know, they did use the cage, though, and that's going to be an advantage to Deadlocked, who now have that one online and able to combo it with a lethal barrage here. But in terms of the positioning and stuff, it seems like ShikiCaHmi has gone on over to the objective first here, and now they're going to be able to sort of hold position and just sort of wait for Deadlocked to walk towards them once again.
All right, here we go. Flashpoint is unlocking very, very soon. Both Malgas are on fire at the moment, so trying to keep each other in check at the moment as Ski will drop the cage fight and Nard's gonna pop the the rocket barrage, but it's thrown back in their face by Baby here. Pulse Bomb is out. Gonna find 2! Case Cashew drops a nuke on ShikiCaHmi, and Baby pulls the blade, but it's no good. Deadlock gonna find the first flip here on Garden.
That wasn't even stuck to anybody. That was just sort of on the floor in between all of them. That was insane that nobody on Deadlock, or ShikiCaHmi, I should say, was able to get away from that one here. Now you're seeing Baby off of the Genji over to the the Tracer, I should say. But now we're at a generic full mirror here between these two teams. But I think the thing to note here is while Bob has already gotten an entry pick, but Nav still has the sound barrier. That's sort of the advantage heading into this fight that Deadlocked had.
Well, yeah,
And the advantage is gone.
So Nav is gonna go down, and all the damage being put out. I mean, they're just stuck in 1v1s constantly, and ShikiCaHmi took advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Wow Bob has just absolutely been lights out on every hit scan. We saw how she was doing on the Soj, and now over to the Cassidy. She's just been amazing so far here. It's really putting the pressure on Deadlocked to try to deliver here. Nard's giving up the cast duel, heading on over to the Venture. This makes their composition incredibly short range. That being said, you know, they can still make it work here, but their entries are going to be crucial, and they have to be, you know, able to stick together. Nobody can go off on their own anymore, not even the Tracer.
All right, here we go. There's only going to be one more chance here for Deadlocked to take this point. ShikiCaHmi crosses the 80% mark here very soon. Now, Kitsune Rush, sound barrier out from Swiffer and Nob. Mithraea answers with one of their own. There's a trade, Pleasure for Swifter. The cage fight is out, but with the help of the Kitsune Rush, able to take it down the Cassidy before Wow Bob is able to pop the kill button there. Now, a Tracer duel for the point all basically here. There's one left on the point. It's a 2 versus 2. Can they take down Baby? They can, but it's a trade. Not for Baby. Case Cashew trying to keep this alive. Mithraea trying to thwart that. Now, the Kiriko enters from Swiffer. Gonna be able to take down Mithraea, and Deadlocked are keeping their heads above water on the garden.
Yeah, very scrappy fight, but they come away with the advantage, and that's going to be brutal for ShikiCaHmi. You know, they invested every ultimate in the kitchen sink into that last one here. They're going to get a sound barrier online, but it's going to be met with the cage from Ski, and then, I mean, everybody grouped up. That should be more than enough time for Nards to build up towards this Venture ultimate here and just start shaking the earth inside of that cage.
Go, Ski gonna run in, not trapped there by the cage fight. Just avoids it all as Nards enters with the drill dash, finds Wow Bob. Now the runs are coming out from both of the Magas, but Blobfish, despite being able to take down Nob, wait a minute, there's trades after trades here. You know, the Tectonic Surge gonna come out from Nards, finds a lot of damage. No final blows, but the point will belong to Deadlocked. They moved him at point.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, right, Ski drops the cage, Nard shooting into it, builds up to that Tectonic Surge, and able to just sort of do the damage there, combined with Case Cashew, who's been, you know, absolutely amazing here on this Tracer here, as we're heading on over to the Temple now. For our 4th point on Flashpoint, and really it's sort of anybody's game, right? The ult economy has evened out in a very significant way here. Both Tracer Pulse Bombs really all that are going to be able to dictate this fight in terms of the ult economy.
Alright, here we go. Deadlocked walking on the coast side. Case and Nards able to track down Baby as Nards pops out of the ground, gets the kill with the burrow here. The first clip will go to ShikiCaHmi, but that's okay, because Deadlocked is up 1 player right now. Almost 2 if Nards can get it done. The hinder will not be an issue for the Venture today. Nards keeps putting out these shots from the Smart Excavator. Gonna finally be able to find the flip eventually. One of these days they'll get it. Flip belongs to Deadlocked, but what a time game for ShikiCaHmi.
Yeah, 41%, nothing to sneeze at there. Absolutely amazing, considering the fact they didn't even have to, you know, commit anything to holding that down and getting that 41%, right? It was almost sort of a staggered free ult, you know, ult charging session for them here, as now they're going to be coming into the next fight with almost all 5 ultimates on the board. Meanwhile, Deadlocked, Nards is going to be missing from this ult palooza that's about to occur here as we're getting ready to get on.
That Kitsune Rush just shreds through the health pools of everybody on Deadlocked, and there was just never a shot for Deadlocked there. Mithraea threw out the perfect Kitsune Rush and just bowled him over.
Yeah, and, you know, again, just amazing, you know, ult usage here coming from ShikiCaHmi, only having to use that Kitsune Rush, being able to hold everything in the bank because they realize Deadlocked has that whole plethora built up themselves here. So now Picking above 70% means we're going to be in probably final fight territory for this point, as teams are ready to surge on in.
All right, now Pulse Bomb and Kitsune Rush are out. Cage Fight is out. Sound Barrier is the response from Nav, able to stay alive. Both Cage Fights haven't been used, and Blobfish will not be able to survive the barrage of damage here. Ski and Nards and Swiffer and everybody on the side of Deadlocked are able to get this point, and they're still alive here. They're at map point.
Yeah, it's map point here. Deadlock can definitely take this one, but it's just going to be a dry neutral fight unless these Tracers build up to pulse bombs, right? So that's going to be something you want to keep your eye on here. If they can sort of stick that in, get the right damage at the right time. But these Malgas, I feel like they're going to be under extreme pressure here, right? That Cardiac Overdrive is now going to be the key tool in keeping their teams alive in these fights. And it's already been forced out from Blobfish.
Fish so damn low, has to get out and stays alive. Very, very luckily for ShikiCaHmi. Rushes right back in, but there's so little healing and not enough. Actually, 2 for 2, but Blobfish is dead. 2 for 2. Can they keep it rolling? The stick comes out from Ski onto Scheme, and baby can save this game, save this fight. Finds 3 on the Tracer, and now it's just Nards under the ground, not able to do jack squat. And ShikiCaHmi are going to be able to take the temple.
Take the temple, and we're heading over to our final point now of Ruins here. Absolutely insane clutch coming out from Baby there. Just doing so much work on the Tracer in that fight. That was almost guaranteed loss for them. But turning the tide at the end of the day is all that matters here. So now taking a fight outside of the point. Blobfish is in so deep.
Blobfish their head above the water at the moment. Runs in, gonna find a lot of damage, and Baby is just absolutely cleaning house right now. Dominant in the backline, finding pick after pick is ShikiCaHmi's Tracer.
Yeah, and I mean, just coming up clutch time, and again there with those picks in the backline, I'm just, even more impressed right now with Pleasure in Mithraya. Being able to keep Blobfish alive through that onslaught there. I mean, Malga, I know, has the Cardiac Overdrive for healing and things, but it's going to be difficult now.
Okay, Cage Fight out from Ski. Traps them all in. Now Wow Bob has to use the Tectonic Surge to try and keep them alive, I guess. But Blobfish not going to be so lucky. Baby's able to find Case Cashew as Wow Bob has to burrow to stay alive here. And, man. A lot of damage put out, but Ski and Nards, and yeah, just Ski and Nards, they stay alive. They're going to find the flip.
Yeah, and, some extra percentage gain for ShikiCaHmi, as they, didn't even have to hold on point, right? That fight occurred off point, so now they're going to be taking another fight very aggressively, very quickly here. And, I mean, both of these teams, they have tools to work with here. What I'm going to be looking out most for is not timing the sound barrier to help everybody live through Blobfish's cage.
Able to stay alive somehow. Now the Cage Fight is out from Blobfish. Pulse Bomb on to the tank as well. They're trying to take down Blobfish as hard as you can, I guess. But Kitsune Rush healing is just too much. They're gonna take the flip right back.
And we're ending this potentially map here on a neutral fight. No ultimates to anybody's name. If you're going to get them, they're going to be earned up here. You're going to be looking for these cooldowns for us. Recall is going to be a crucial one, as well as the Cardiac Overdrives again from these Malgas here. It's going to be what you're sort of waiting on to see who can find the first damage here. But an odd rotation from Deadlock just to try to get somebody to point. Can they?
Touch? It's got to be... No, Nards can't get there. Deadlocked. They lose in the last few seconds of the map. ShikiCaHmi, they move to 3-0 here in the, or 2-0 in the Switch stage rather, with a 3-0 over Deadlocked. And I mean, it was pretty dominant for the first 2 maps. That Saravasa was very, very close, but I mean, yeah, they're looking to assert themselves as one of the best teams in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they did just that here. I mean, 3-0, those first 2 maps, like you said, Fletch, just absolute powerhouses coming out from the entirety of ShikiCaHmi. They're all putting in insane amounts of work there. That last map, though, obviously, once we entered the Saravasa with this Malga meta, right, we really saw signs of life that we like to see from Deadlocked. They had each their own individual pop-off moments, but unfortunately just weren't able to get the job done there. But that's a great thing, right? You're just in Swiss stage. You still have some games tomorrow to decide who's going to end up in that final bracket here. But at least for the time being, we can definitely say that ShikiCaHmi, they are one of the front runners in this tournament.
Yeah, they all look good. They all look great. I mean, even the unsung heroes, the supports, Blobfish for those first two maps, just putting out unreal amounts of damage, never ending up in the kill feed. But, I mean, ShikiCaHmi, they are good. They're good here in this tournament. Now 6-0 in maps in their first two matches. Yeah, gonna be looking at them to be a front runner in this tournament, and unfortunately, Megalas, that's gonna be the end of it here for us. At least tonight, this tournament goes throughout the rest of the weekend. Just so y'all know, I bet y'all couldn't guess this is a charity tournament, right? For the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. If you type in !donate, I want to say in the chat, you can hit up the donation link. If you can afford to spare anything, we would all greatly appreciate it. It's a great cause to help with, so we would all greatly appreciate it if you could do even $1 or $2 would help.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you all for watching. Megalas, do you have anything else to say before we head off for the night?
No, just amazing matches. We got the whole weekend ahead of us, and I mean, you can already tell on screen we're already at $670 out of the $1,000 goal. We still got 2 more days of play. If I'm not mistaken, BPL 2 should still be
Orange.
going.
Thanks, Orange.
Thanks to Orange. But yeah, just great.
Yeah. Should be a great tournament as we continue. Got a couple more days of it. So thank you all for watching, and we hope to catch y'all throughout the rest of this tournament. Tune in tomorrow for more. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night, y'all.